Today we're going to talk about language and gender. Well, first of all, it is important to mention the differences between gender and sex. Gender has to do with socially constructed roles, and it is appropriate for distinguishing people according to their social cultural behaviors, including speech. On the other hand, sex has to do with biological characteristics, and it is associated with physical and physiological features.
We can find many differences between men and women language. There are differences in pronunciation and intonation, in vocabulary, in register, topic, dominance, and social class. The first difference is about pronunciation and intonation. Phonological differences between the speech of men and women have been noted in a variety of languages. Women speak more standard than men, such as the pronunciation of the ing form. Here we have an example of that. What is Margaret so upset about? I thought I saw her dancing a while ago. Yeah, she was leaping with joy, she said. With respect to intonation, women prefer to use several tones in one sentence. On the contrary, men prefer falling tones rather than modified tones. Here we have an example of that. Patrick says, when will our lunch be ready? This is a falling tone. And Mary says, oh, around 12 o'clock? This is a rising tones, and it means if there isn't any problem, it must be 12 o'clock. The second difference is about vocabulary. The differences in vocabulary can be shown in the following aspects. Women are good at using color words to describe things such as mauve, magenta, but most men do not use them. Then, women tend to use some extreme adjectives, such as charming, lovely, adorable, and so on. Here we have an example of that. A woman would say, it's a gorgeous meal. However, a man would say, it's a good meal. They are simpler than women. Women usually avoid using slang and dirty words, and they use euphemistic expressions such as my dear or oh my God. And finally, women like to use words that have the meaning of small, such as bookie, sweetie, and panties.
Well, regarding register, it is said that women use more standard grammatical forms. That is to say that they speak in a more formal way. On the other hand, men use more vernacular forms. That is to say that they speak or they use colloquial language. According to Robin Lackmore, women use women's language or polite language because they use indirect requests, adjectives, question tags, super polite forms. For example, will you please close the door instead of saying close the door? And they use euphemisms. For example, my sister is between jobs instead of saying my sister is unemployed. Regarding topic, women talk about personal problems and they spend more time talking to friends than men. It is also said that women are more likely to seek connection and intimacy. On the other hand, men discuss about sports more than women do, and they spend more time engaging in other activities with friends. According to Holmes, when women gossip, the focus is on personal experiences, and that they complete each other's utterances. They agree frequently and provide supportive feedback. For example, in this conversation, it says, perhaps next time I see Brian, I prompt him for information. Brian tells me all the gossip. I know it's about 6 years old, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. True, true. It's the thought that counts. So it is very clear how they complete each other's utterances and how they agree.
Regarding dominance and power, in this case, gender-exclusive speech forms reflect social exclusive social roles or differences in power in different communities. Here we have an example. A Bengali wife whose husband's name is Tara, that means star, can't address him using his name, so she calls him Nokotro, heavenly body, instead. Then, with social class, women tend to use more standard speech forms than men because we are more status conscious and we know that standard forms are associated with the higher classes. Sometimes we lack of that status and we use standard forms to acquire that. That's why here we have an example. Women in paid employments use more standard forms than women who stay home and interact mainly with each other. Stereotypes. We have here some of the stereotypes associated with women. First of all, we have women as a talkative sex. It is believed that we do all the talking, when in fact, men dominate the talking time, especially in non-private situations like TV interviews, staff meetings, where talking increases your status. Again, men are usually in positions of power, so the word is just given to them. Then we have women as confident, tentative talkers, when in fact, we are facilitative and supportive conversationalists. We use politeness devices to express solidarity, and we accommodate to our addressee's speech using devices such as giving feedback, for example. Then we have women avoiding direct conflict and specializing in being nice. We are usually portrayed as cooperative, polite, oriented towards empathy and intimacy. But this is not based on real evidence, the fact that we avoid conflict, because conflict is rarely studied, because it is dysfunctional and ambiguous. Then we have women related to gossip and men related to argument. Again, gossip is portrayed as this nasty and mean-spirited device, giving this negative connotation to women. And it is said to be only confined to women, which is not true. It can actually foster intellectual and social progress as well. It is not always negative.
How to put language and gender into practice in an English lesson. We incorporate some comics to show our students the differences between women and men language. The first one is, you left dishes in the living room. The garage is a mess, but you never listen to my opinions, and half the time you don't even look at when we talk. She says you didn't notice her haircut. The second one says, he says he's sorry and he'll try to be more sensitive in the future. And he loves you, but he wants to change the subject because he's not comfortable with your confrontation.
Okay, the other example says, why are girls so acutely aware of their surroundings while boys are so clueless? Huh? I'll prove it. Quick, close your eyes. Now tell me what I'm wearing. I'll make it easier. Tell me what you are wearing. Okay, tell me who you're talking to. With my eyes closed?
Okay, so we thought of this type of comics to show visually our students the differences in language. This could be pretty useful in an ELT classroom. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed the presentation. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.